because Steven Hatfill, yeah, so who's this person and how this story evolved? Steven Hatfill, yeah, was until very recently, he was very close to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and in the Ministry of Health in the United States, in the so-called HHS. Yeah, but the chief of staff fired Steven Hatfill. Yeah, just recently, and Steven Hatfill got surprise, he got help from the Washington Post and was able to place an article and told his story to the Washington Post, and even the New York Times supported Steven Hatfill. Yeah. And they claimed, oh, this was not right, that Steven Hatfill was fired. And Steven Hatfill said to the Washington Post and the New York Times, he said, oh, there is a coup against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Yeah. So, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr., yeah, he fired himself via his chief of staff. So there is something very fishy going on over there, and it's very important to know who is this man, Steven Hatfill. And especially in the Enlightenment movement, yeah, so in the freedom movement in Europe in the last years, some knew about Steven Hatfill because he popped up out of nothing in Europe. He was brought up by Robert Malone in 2021 in Rome in a very good financed Congress in 21. Yeah, we were all suppressed, but they were able to make a good Congress, and even they were invited to the Italian Parliament in 2021. And it was Robert Malone who managed this, and he had a team from the United States, 3 people, and it included Steven Hatfill, and they brought him to the stage. Yeah,
I think Steven it was International COVID Summit 1.
Exactly.
I know. I remember this. Yeah, because I was present in International COVID Summit 3 and 4, and it was one in the Rome, and I remember they put one big, huge statement, and this statement was read by Robert Malone.
Exactly. Yeah, and there was another one in in East Europe. That was in Bucharest.
That's right. I was there also.
Yeah, you've been there also. So you have seen Mr. Hatfill because he was there. Yeah.
Okay.
But he was only there in Europe where I was not. Yeah, because I'm very sure they knew that I knew about his background. Yeah, and I told some of the freedom fighters before in advance. I told the story about Steven Hatfill and the story about Malone as well, and so there were some freedom fighters are very surprised to see Steven Hatfill over there. Yeah, so in fact they were shocked. Well, but the shocking news is that he was announced some weeks ago in Brussels in the European Parliament on in a freedom fighter session, let's say like this. He was announced as the chief medical officer of Bobby Kennedy, yeah, of the HHS.
No, he was. No, they tell that he is a member of this board, a vaccine board, who is deciding about vaccines. I don't know exactly the name of the board, but he was presented there as a member of this board, not as a. I was there, and I was listening his speech, and he was coming as a, we can say, advisor how to build up, make Europe healthy again, accordingly how they've done it in United States, make America healthy again.
Yes. Yeah, this was, and the man who put or who highlighted Steven Hatfill before. This was Dr. Asim Malhotra from Britain. We will show some evidence on this. But first, so who is Steven Hatfill? This is very important. I have it in my book. So Steven Hatfill, he is a racist, and he was involved in the mass murder killings first in the 80s in South Africa and Rhodesia, and then in the United States with the Anthrax attacks in the United States, from 2001. And he was named a person of interest, so the suspect. And I can tell you, this was just fake. He played a role, and he got a reward. So he played this role for nearly around 5 years, and he got $1 million from the U.S. government, for playing this role. Because then he sued the government, and guess what? He got more than $5 million. So I think everyone in the freedom movement would be happy if the Croatian government or the German government, would be so
generous.
Giving so much money, would be so generous. But Steven Hatfill got it.
What was his purpose in this?
He has a really racist background, and there is a good English movie, and it's translated to German and French as well for beginners. And Steven Hatfill is depicted in this. It's called The Anthrax War. It's done by France in 2010 by state media, by Arte. It's a German and French state media TV station. The Anthrax War. On German, die Anthrax-Dealer.